Turns out that New Jersey isn't the only state where schools can keep parents in the dark about their kids' new gender identity. It is also state-issued guidance in New York, Washington State, and California. In the majority of other states, other than Florida, Alabama, and Virginia, it's typically up to the district whether or not to disclose this information to parents. All told, more than 3.2 million public schools in the United States have closed-mouth policies, meaning you don't say anything to parents. We've heard from a lot of you about the case in New Jersey we covered Friday, where the governor is suing 3 school districts which require parental consent for kids to change their pronouns and or use other bathrooms. Here is a New Jersey state senator explaining why she thinks Democrats in her state feel this is so important.
Honestly, I think part of it is almost there's a squirrel approach that the Democratic Party is intentionally doing rather than having parents focus on the massive learning loss that took place as a result of almost 2 years of lockdowns in blue states. But it's gone even beyond parental consent.
That got us thinking about the actual arguments by New York and by New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy and others, including this line from their lawsuit. Outing these students against their will poses serious mental health risks, threatens physical harm to students, including risking increased suicides, decreases the likelihood students will seek support, and shrinks from the district's obligation to create a safe and supportive learning environment for all. With that, we bring in Dr. Jesselly De La Cruz, Executive Director of Latino Action Network Foundation. Appreciate you joining us. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the argument here, is that if a trans student tells their teacher, hey, I'm not Jack anymore, I want to be Jill starting today, that the teacher should accept that whole cloth and go forth with the student's will and withhold that information from the parents?
So I think that kind of rush in a child assuming, coming to terms with their gender identity is usually what's used to scare people into this, that it's just like one day a child wakes up and all of a sudden they want to identify with a different gender identity.
Fine. I just want to understand this word. You have to take everything to actually how it can work. Over 3 months, they have a conversation with the teachers and their guidance counselors, and never involve their parents. But the student at some age decides that your position is the parents should never be told.
Right. They should be told when the child is ready, and it should come from the child themselves with a supportive environment. A child shouldn't be outed to anyone, really, not to school, not to other students, not to their family members, unless they are ready to have that discussion with their family members. This law isn't for people who they're going to be responsive to their children, right? They're not going to be very surprised because they've already had some discussions with their child around gender identity and have an understanding. This law is really to protect those children at highest risk of being either completely abandoned by their family because of their gender identity or being at risk for actual child abuse.
No, I understand the argument. It's the one the New Jersey governor and attorney general make. Why is gender identity different than everything else? And I think about if there's going to be some kids who are going to get disciplined at home, whatever that means, and face punishment for getting bad grades. They would face punishment for bullying kids at school, for not standing up to a bully at school. If they yell at their teacher, they're going to face discipline at home. There's all sorts of things that happen at home as an extension to school. Why is this the one thing that gets withheld from parents?
I think it's the risk of mental health and suicides and the realities that trans young people live with every day. Trans young people are highest at risk of being homeless, being completely cut off from their family, and have faced the highest risk of violence for disclosing a reality about who they are. And I think that's the real concern that we have, is that it's not so much an airing of the side of should this be disclosed? Like, why is this particular thing protected? It's about the student, and how do we protect the student?
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.